The baseball world is buzzing in a way that feels almost unreal. And when a rumor reaches this level of noise, you can practically hear it echoing through clubhouses, social media timelines, and late-night radio shows. The idea floating around is that José Ramírez, one of the most electric and respected players of his generation, could be wearing Yankees pinstripes sooner than anyone expected. Nothing official has been placed on a podium yet. No smiling photo with a jersey held up for cameras, but the whispers are loud, persistent, and strangely confident. Insiders talk about conversations that went far beyond casual check-ins, about interest that feels deeper than a simple phone call, and about a sense inside the league that something big has been set in motion. For Yankees fans, this kind of rumor hits like a lightning bolt, because it taps directly into the identity of a franchise that has always thrived on bold moves and star power. For everyone else, it feels like the start of a story that could reshape the balance of power in the league. The name José Ramírez carries weight, not just because of his talent, but because of the consistency, intensity, and leadership he brings wherever he goes. When that name is linked to the Yankees, even as speculation, it stops being just another rumor and starts feeling like a seismic shift that people cannot ignore. What makes this speculation even more fascinating is how quietly it seemed to grow before suddenly exploding into public conversation. There was no dramatic leak at first, no single report that set everything on fire. Instead, it was a series of subtle hints, offhand comments, and knowing reactions from people who usually stay very careful with their words. Analysts began choosing their phrases differently. Fans started connecting dots between roster needs and player profiles, and former players began saying things like it would make too much sense to ignore. The Yankees, as always, are viewed as a team that never stops looking for ways to add proven excellence, and José Ramírez fits that mold in almost every imaginable way. He brings switch-hitting ability, defensive versatility, and an edge that plays well in high-pressure environments. The rumors suggest that the front office sees him not just as another star, but as a potential centerpiece, someone who could anchor the lineup and change the emotional tone of the team. When speculation reaches this depth, it starts to feel less like fantasy and more like a calculated possibility that just has not been announced yet. From José Ramírez's perspective, the narrative is just as compelling, which is why people are taking this rumor seriously. He has spent years building a reputation as a relentless competitor, a player who shows up every day with the same intensity regardless of circumstances. The idea that he could be intrigued by the stage, history, and expectations that come with the Yankees is not far-fetched. Playing in that environment offers a chance to redefine a legacy, to test oneself against constant scrutiny, and to perform under a spotlight that never dims. Those close to the player are said to believe he is motivated by challenges, not comfort, and that notion feeds directly into this speculation. The Yankees represent the ultimate challenge in many ways because every at-bat, every defensive play, and every slump is magnified. The rumor paints a picture of mutual curiosity, of a player and a franchise circling each other, aware of the risks and rewards involved. That kind of mutual interest is often how the biggest moves begin, quietly, before suddenly becoming unavoidable. Yankees fans, of course, have taken this rumor and run with it, imagining lineups, defensive alignments, and the emotional jolt that a player like José Ramírez could bring to the Bronx. There is a sense that his style of play, aggressive yet controlled, flashy yet fundamentally sound, would resonate deeply with the fan base. People talk about how his presence could protect other hitters, how his energy could change the rhythm of games, and how his experience could elevate younger players around him. Even skeptics admit that the fit feels natural, which only adds fuel to the speculation. The Yankees have always been associated with iconic third basemen and infield leaders, and the idea of continuing that tradition with someone like Ramírez feels almost poetic. Rumors often fade when they lack logic, but this one seems to gain strength precisely because so many pieces appear to align. When fans start saying it feels inevitable, even while admitting they might be dreaming, you know a rumor has reached a powerful stage. Around the league, rival teams and executives are reportedly paying close attention. Not because anything has been confirmed, but because the mere possibility changes how everyone thinks. If the Yankees are truly positioning themselves to land José Ramírez, it sends a message about their intentions and their willingness to make bold statements. That kind of message can influence other decisions, from trade talks to contract negotiations, as teams try to anticipate the ripple effects. Speculation suggests that some clubs may already be adjusting their strategies, just in case this move materializes. The presence of Ramírez in the Yankees lineup would not just be about adding talent. It would be about shifting narratives and forcing others to respond. This is why even unconfirmed rumors can carry real weight in professional sports. They create pressure, expectations, and conversations that linger long after the initial buzz. In this case, the buzz feels heavier, more grounded, as if people sense that the story is moving toward a conclusion, even if that conclusion has not yet been revealed. As the conversation continues to grow, what stands out most is how carefully worded the denials and non-answers have been. No one involved is rushing to shut this down completely, which is often telling in itself. Instead, there's a lot of talk about focus, respect, and keeping options open, phrases that leave plenty of room for interpretation. In the world of baseball rumors, silence and vague responses can sometimes speak louder than outright confirmation. The José Ramírez to Yankee speculation lives in that space, where nothing is official, but nothing feels impossible either. For now, fans are left reading between the lines, replaying comments, and imagining what could be. Whether this ends in a blockbuster announcement or fades into another chapter of what might have been, the rumor has already captured attention in a way few stories do. And until something definitive happens, the idea of José Ramírez in pinstripes will continue to hover, tempting, exciting, and impossible to fully dismiss. The second wave of this rumor feels even more intense, because now people are not just asking if it could happen, but how it would happen and what it would mean in the long run. Speculation has shifted from the initial shock to deeper analysis, with fans and commentators imagining the behind-the-scenes chess match that would be required to bring a player of José Ramírez's caliber to the Yankees. There is talk of complex negotiations, of delicate balances between future planning and present ambition, and of a front office that understands the symbolic power of such a move. This is not just about filling a position, according to the rumor mill, but about making a statement that the Yankees are fully committed to reasserting their dominance. José Ramírez represents reliability, durability, and elite performance, qualities that every contender covets. The idea that the Yankees could secure someone like that feeds into a broader narrative of resurgence and intent. Even without confirmation, the speculation alone has already reframed conversations about the team's direction and priorities. One of the most intriguing aspects of this ongoing rumor is how it has sparked debates about identity and culture within the Yankees organization. Observers suggest that adding José Ramírez would not only impact the stat sheet, but also the clubhouse dynamic. He is often described as a quiet leader, someone who leads by example rather than speeches, and that style could blend seamlessly into a veteran-heavy environment. The speculation paints him as a stabilizing force, a player who can handle pressure without being consumed by it. For a franchise that lives under constant scrutiny, that trait is invaluable. People close to the team hint that this kind of personality is exactly what decision-makers are targeting, someone who can thrive amid noise rather than shrink from it. When rumors start touching on intangible qualities like leadership and mindset, they tend to feel more grounded, as if the conversation has moved beyond surface-level fantasy into genuine strategic thinking. From a broader league perspective, the possibility of José Ramírez joining the Yankees also raises questions about competitive balance and the ever-evolving arms race among top teams. Speculation suggests that such a move could trigger a cascade of reactions, with other contenders feeling pressured to respond aggressively. This is how major shifts often begin, not with a single announcement, but with the anticipation of one. The Yankees, by simply being linked to Ramírez, remind everyone of their ability to draw elite talent and to reshape narratives with a single move. Even teams that have no direct involvement cannot ignore the implications. Analysts are already debating how opposing pitchers would adjust, how defensive strategies might change, and how postseason matchups could be influenced. All of this is happening without a single official confirmation, which shows the power of the rumor itself. It has become a thought experiment that everyone is participating in, willingly or not. Fans of José Ramírez's current team are experiencing the other side of this speculation, a mix of anxiety, denial, and reluctant acceptance. Rumors like this often force supporters to confront uncomfortable possibilities, even when nothing has been finalized. There is talk about loyalty, about what a player means to a franchise, and about the business realities that sometimes override emotional attachments. Some insist that the idea is being exaggerated, while others quietly acknowledge that the signs feel different this time. The Yankees are not just any potential destination, and that adds emotional weight to the conversation. For many, the speculation feels like a test of faith, both in the team's future and in the stability of modern baseball. When a rumor reaches this level of emotional impact, it is no longer just background noise. It becomes part of the daily conversation, influencing how fans watch, talk, and think about the sport. Media coverage has also adapted to this evolving narrative, with commentators choosing their words carefully, aware of how quickly speculation can turn into perceived fact. There is a noticeable effort to frame discussions around possibility rather than certainty, yet the excitement is hard to hide. Phrases like sources suggest, there is belief, and conversations are ongoing dominate the airwaves. This careful language keeps the rumor alive without crossing into confirmation, a delicate balance that fuels engagement. The José Ramírez to Yankees story has become a magnet for clicks, views, and debates, precisely because it sits on that razor-thin edge between rumor and reality. Each new comment, no matter how small, is dissected and shared, adding layers to an already complex story. In this environment, even silence can be interpreted as meaningful, which only deepens the intrigue. As things stand, the speculation surrounding José Ramírez and the Yankees feels like a slow, burning fuse, one that could either fizzle out quietly or explode into a moment that defines an era. The uncertainty is part of what makes it so compelling, because it invites everyone to imagine multiple outcomes. For Yankees fans, the dream is obvious and intoxicating. For rivals, the possibility is unsettling. For neutral observers, it is simply fascinating to watch how such a powerful rumor evolves. Until something definitive emerges, this story will continue to live in the gray area, fed by hints, reactions, and the undeniable logic that keeps it alive. In the world of baseball, some rumors vanish overnight, while others linger because they feel like they belong. Right now, the idea of José Ramírez in a Yankees uniform feels like one of those rumors that refuses to go away, hanging in the air, daring reality to catch up. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. As this rumor keeps circulating, another layer begins to form around the idea of timing. And that is where speculation really starts to feel intentional rather than accidental. People around the league whisper that moments like this are rarely random, that stories gain momentum when conditions quietly align behind closed doors. The Yankees are often described as patient when they want to be, but decisive when they sense an opening, and some believe this chatter is a reflection of that internal confidence. José Ramírez is viewed as a player who does not require years of projection or guesswork because his track record speaks clearly enough. The rumors suggest that decision-makers see a window, not just for a single season, but for redefining a competitive cycle. That is why the noise refuses to die down. Fans notice how conversations are no longer being dismissed outright, how the language has shifted from impossible to unlikely, and now to plausible. In baseball culture, that shift matters. It signals that people are preparing themselves emotionally for an outcome that once felt too bold to consider. The longer this speculation lingers, the more it feels like a story being slowly introduced rather than abruptly revealed. There's also a growing sense that this rumor has taken on a life beyond pure baseball logic, tapping into mythology and symbolism that the sport thrives on. The Yankees represent legacy, history, and expectation, while José Ramírez represents the modern star who blends old-school toughness with contemporary versatility. The idea of those two worlds colliding feels narratively powerful, almost scripted, and that is why so many voices keep returning to it. Speculation frames this potential move as one that could be remembered not just for performance, but for what it represented at the time it happened. Even people who try to remain skeptical admit that the storyline fits too well to ignore. Baseball has always loved moments where eras overlap, where established icons step into iconic uniforms and redefine themselves. This rumor feeds directly into that tradition. It invites fans to imagine highlight reels, postseason atmospheres, and signature moments that would instantly become part of franchise lore. When a rumor starts inspiring imagination on that scale, it stops being just talk and starts feeling like a shared anticipation. Ultimately, what keeps this speculation alive is not just hope or fear, but coherence. Every strong rumor has internal logic, and in this case, many feel the pieces align too neatly to dismiss. The Yankees have a need, José Ramírez has the profile, and the league context provides the tension that makes such a move feel impactful. Until something definitive is said, this story will continue to breathe through pauses, glances, and carefully chosen words. Fans will keep reading signals into interviews. Analysts will keep revisiting the possibility, and rival teams will keep watching closely. In the end, whether this rumor becomes reality or fades into one of baseball's great what-ifs, it has already achieved something significant. It has reminded everyone how powerful speculation can be, how it can dominate conversation and emotion without a single official statement. For now, the idea remains suspended in that irresistible space between dream and decision, where baseball stories often feel the most alive. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.